Folks, we're back. Hello. Thank you for joining me again. This is going to be the last one of these for the New Japan Cup. I was initially going to do a breakdown of the quarters and the semis and the main, but there just didn't really feel like there was a ton of stake in the quarters and the semis. Not that the matches were bad, but with the layout of the matches being full of House of Torture guys, it wasn't something that I did review it. I did write down a whole bunch of stuff, but I basically deleted it all and wanted to jump straight to the final, and for good reason, as we will find out. So let's get right to it. The final is Yota Tsuji representing Los Ingobernables de Japón versus Hiroki Goto of Chaos. Yota Tsuji is on his quest to win his first New Japan Cup, which will also give him a chance to compete for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship against the leader of his own faction, Tetsuya Naito. This is a championship that Yota Tsuji's never won before. This is also a championship which Hiroki Goto has never won before, which is who Tsuji is up against in this final. He's looking to extend his record to 4 New Japan Cups and get another chance at the belt that he's never won, which is currently Naito's IWGP Heavyweight Championship. A huge fan of this. In my previous notes, which I didn't end up broadcasting, I was really hoping once we got down to the final 4 that it was going to be Tsuji and Goto. I just feel like both guys have not met a ton of times before in ring, and they also are 2 dudes who are going to keep it pretty simple, to the extent of like not having guys run in, not having ref bumps, none of that stuff. So that was nice, a nice surprise, I guess I would say. I don't think many people had Goto going to the finals again, which may have been a pivot from when David Finlay was hurt. He had to bow out before the quarters, in which he would have faced Goto. So that's interesting. I believe he would have faced Goto. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. It doesn't matter anyways, as here's Hiroki Goto. Tsuji comes out first. Crowd's loving it. Good entrance. Goto comes out next, and this entrance for him, he's always got a pretty cool entrance. He's a pretty stoic guy. He's kind of got that piece about him, the inner kind of samurai respect, that aspect to him, and he definitely carries a lot of that in his entrance, and the crowd is pretty into it for sure, as was I. Once the crowd is really looking forward to getting this one going. I think they understood what a lot of people understood about this tournament leading up to this match, which was that it wasn't very good as a whole, and this match was certainly offering something that they hadn't seen in a while. I was far too captivated by this match to write down a whole lot, to be quite honest, during it. So most of my thoughts on this are just kind of spitballing and just gathering my opinions on some of this stuff post match. It was back and forth with Tsuji trying to show that he had as much fighting spirit and kind of honor as the stoic Hiroki Goto has. And this whole match was kind of the embodiment of why I like New Japan. This is the stuff you throw on late at night when the crowd is dark and the lights are bright. Ideally, the lights look like they have astigmatism. That adds a whole nother level. Things are a little fuzzy. Obviously, we didn't quite get that, as the world we live in has much sharper cameras than that. And so our TVs process it a little better, but it had that vibe to it. And I really, really enjoyed this match. I'm going to say that a few more times. The crowd is hot throughout. They're definitely in Tsuji's corner for the majority of this. They definitely are psyched, and they give Goto his flowers when he does kind of have these moments of superiority over the younger Yota Tsuji. The crowd is appreciative of his years, his veteranship, his savvy, and his fighting spirit for sure. Down the stretch is incredible. Both guys land some big moves, including an exceptional lariat from Goto, which Suji sells incredibly well. There's a really good stomp. Suji does a lot of stomps. Does the one off the ropes, does the one to the back of the head, and he hits Goto with this one where Goto's basically facing him, and it was the most effective looking stomp of this match, and frankly, one of the best stomps I've seen. So that was great. And there's also a really cool right when Goto is trying to finish him off, he kind of gets him in. He has his back and he kind of pulls him into like a ripcord situation, and Suji reverses it into basically a ripcord spear. Spears don't look good. Suji's got a good one, so it was nice to see it not once but twice in this one. As after the ripcord spear, Suji lines him up, hits another one. 1, 2, 3. Suji shows a ton of heart, gets this one, outlasts the veteran, the 3-time New Japan Cup champion, Hiroki Goto, to win his first New Japan Cup, which is lovely because this sets up Yota Tsuji, the youngest member of LIJ, versus Tetsuya Naito, the leader of LIJ, in what I expect to be a really good match. Again, there's going to be no interference. It's just going to be two great wrestlers wrestling at a higher level. With the way that Naito kind of moves around the ring these days, it definitely benefits to have somebody who's a bigger base for him, especially when he's trying to do Destino and some of the DDTs he does and stuff. It's going to be really helpful to have a bigger body in there like Tsuji. I expect Naito to hold on to the belt to set up something maybe down the line with Zack Sabre Jr. There's a lot of history there, but who knows? You never know. There were surprises in this New Japan Cup. I wouldn't say that many of them were nice surprises, but there were surprises, and maybe they surprise us again with Tsuji taking the belt off of his faction leader. What would that mean for LIJ? I don't know. Shingo had the big belt for a while within LIJ when Naito didn't, and things were pretty okay. Naito just kind of let him run the show, and everything was tranquilo. So we'll see what happens. This tournament was marred by interference and confusing booking, but this match made me forget all of that for now and really enjoy New Japan for the reasons I enjoy New Japan. They were only outside of the ring once. There were no foreign objects, cheap shots, ref bumps. It was a huge breath of fresh air for me and probably everyone else who stuck it out through this tournament to get to this point. So that's kind of it. Tournament's over. Thankfully, I think a lot of us were hoping for more out of it. But this final was a really nice cherry on top, a good cherry on top of what otherwise was kind of a shit Sunday. So we'll see how New Japan goes from here. They've got a lot of questions to answer about the prior rounds. Again, I think Goto going to the finals was maybe an audible once Finlay got hurt, but I'm really glad it happened. I'd like to thank everyone for joining me on this journey, not only for this tournament, but for me. This is my first time talking about wrestling on camera by myself. So I'd like to thank everyone for the support, the likes, the follows, hey, maybe you could try this. Maybe you could say less, which I think I've gotten a little better at. Almost said it. I'll be back at some point, probably doing another tournament. I kind of like doing tournaments. They give me a little bit to focus on. I'm not going to do a weekly or anything like that. That's for the pros. And I will continue to be an amateur. Maybe I'll spruce up the channel a bit. Maybe you won't be able to see a litter box in the background, but who knows? Maybe you will. Again, thanks everyone so much. I appreciate your time. I appreciate the support. All that stuff I've already said. I'm going to repeat myself. I will just say from here on, peace.